So, no, I wouldn't say I have a passion for HR.
Welcome back to Human Resources for the People. It's a human capital revolution. The strike is coming on a Friday deadline from the UPS truck drivers. This article is from the Associated Press. Take a look at the link down below. So, the Teamsters Union, which runs the union for about 340,000 UPS workers, said the strike's imminent because they were appalled at the counter proposal. So the International Brotherhood of Teamsters walked away on Wednesday, looking for a last, best, and final offer no later than June 30th. Last, best, and final is sort of union language. The idea is that you are supposed to give the final offer. It's supposed to be great, and it's part of the bargaining process. There's actually a really interesting court case a while back where instead of negotiating with the union, a small business owner gave his final offer, and he said it was truly the best that he could do. And I think that there was some metrics that surrounded that. And this language, of course, is always last, best, and final. But this business owner gave them that, and right off the bat in the beginning. And the National Labor Relations Board said that's not sufficient. You still have to negotiate. And I think that's a little bit ridiculous and a little bit frustrating. If the manager truly is giving his last, best, and final, or his or hers last, best, and final, that should be sufficient. But it was not for the National Labor Relations Board. Pretty interesting. But so the Teamsters were looking for last, best, and final on June 30th, but they didn't say when the deadline was. A lot of UPS workers were giving practice strikes in Los Angeles today. I think that is kind of interesting. I've never heard that. I'm sure it's a common tactic, but I think that one's a practice strike is interesting. This can, of course, gnarl up our supply chain in the United States. The International Longshore Workers Union in Canada decided to strike. That's going to be hitting our supply chains as well because they have really efficient ports there in Vancouver. And so, with that and the UPS workers, it seems that strikers are happening all over the place, and specifically in supply chain, right? So we had the rail strikes earlier this year, and they're all seeing the pandemic profits that were being made. The problem with that is quickly those profits are collapsing. You saw profits being made in the shipping industries, in the industries surrounding, again, this, surrounding the rail, and those are disappearing quickly. So it's a little difficult to get stuck in a long-term contract when you're going to see that happen. The Teamsters General President, whose name is Sean O'Brien, says that this largest single employer strike in American history is inevitable. Of course, this is partially a negotiating tactic. I will say, I am curious, this is the largest single employer strike. But how many of these Teamsters workers are working in right to work states? Probably a good portion. And in addition, how many of them are actually going to strike? I mean, that's the big question. That's a $100,000 question. There are quite a bit of people who are technically represented by the Teamsters, but are not actually Teamsters members. That's part of right to work. Kind of interesting. Teamsters noted that 97% of unionized workers voted for strike authorization. But again, when many of your employees are in right to work states, that might only represent half of the total covered population. The unions are looking for more negotiation, more leverage there. But it's the first strike if it happens. It'd be the first strike since about a 2 week strike that was 200,000 workers, and that crippled the company and the economy as a whole about a quarter century ago. So we've got a much bigger strike on our hands here. The UPS workers are upset about the contract. It was forced on them in the past. They don't like the two hierarchies of different workers with different pay scales and different unions. But the union has received a win, specifically surrounding getting trucks with air conditioning equipment. I think that's a great thing for workers. I saw a video of a UPS driver who passed out due to heat on someone's porch. I think that is very critical. It's very critical from a safety perspective, and I think the company is happy to do this. Like I said, it'll snarl up supply chains. UPS delivers $25 million packages a day, according to this article, and that's about a quarter of all U.S. parcel volume. So it's a really significant function within American economy, specifically with Amazon. And that is really critical. Of course, UPS profits have soared. I think that part of that is the pandemic. We'll see how long this good times are going to last, and I think that that's important to understand. But there is potential strikes coming. We'll see whether or not it's effective and efficient. These workers have been working hard. This contract has been in negotiations since April, so it's really coming to a head, and we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.